for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new NECA Toys Ultimate T-800 from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Kind of their first Ultimate figure. This guy features a ton of stuff. Now for the package, very similar to what we got before with a lot of their video game sort of packages where it's, you know, a large box. You got a nice image of Arnold there. Same thing on the side. Come around here to the back. You got a couple product shots. And it says 3 billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997. The few who survived the nuclear fires of Judgment Day lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines. In their effort to eliminate all remaining humans, Skynet sent 2 Terminators back through time. Their mission, to destroy John Connor, the future leader of the human resistance. The first was programmed to strike at his mother, Sarah Connor, in the year 1984, before John was born. It failed. The second was to eliminate John when he was just a child. As before, the Resistance was able to send a lone warrior to protect the boy. The only question was which would reach him first. It's a read-up that we're very familiar with, and then you come around to the front, you can see that it opens up much like those video game packages I talked about. You got a nice product shot here, and then you have an open window that displays the figure as well as the huge slew of accessories that he comes with. This guy really is kind of the ultimate version of the T-800. So, without further ado, let's get this guy open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the Ultimate T-800 open up and out of his packaging. And the term Ultimate really does apply to this guy. You can create almost every really cool scene from Terminator 2 with this set. I'm really quite impressed. Now, there are some aspects of the figure that I'm not a huge fan of, but in general, I think that this is probably their best version of the T-800 that they've ever released. As you can see, he comes with a lot of different accessories. Starting off first, he does come with his, I guess, grenade launcher, I guess you call it. I'm not 100% sure, but you do have this giant gun, which launches these explosive charges. So you do have that right there. He also does come with the kind of shortened rifle that he used a lot. I mean, you could see he like would rotate it and then rotate it again. So you do have that. He does come with a handgun. I think that this is designed to replicate the handgun that he used to famously kill the T-1000, saying "Hasta la vista, baby." I think that that's what this gun is meant to kind of represent. And a real great paint. I mean, all these have a tremendous amount of detail and paint applications applied to them. Absolutely stunning. You come down to this piece. Now, these ones here, they might be reused pieces from before. I know we've gotten several of them, like the guns and things in the past. I know we did get this, but I don't think we ever got it with the actual backpack kind of thing that held on to all of the extra rounds of ammunition. So, I mean, that's a really cool piece by itself. One thing that I'm a little bit disappointed in is due to, I don't know if it was how it was in the package, but like you can see, this is a little bit warped. That's kind of unfortunate. And then this also, you can see that the handle is a little bit bent, so you kind of have to wedge it. And then this, the upper handle is really warped here as well. I don't know how that happened, but it is a softer plastic, so you can kind of position that and get it a little bit more straight, so it's something like that. But ideally what you're probably going to have to do is use the hot water trick, where you put this in some boiling water, kind of put it in the position that you want. Be very careful when you're doing them, put it in a freezer so that it actually kind of realigns that plastic and keeps that in position. So you do have that as well. You also do get 3 different head sculpts. As you can see, you get the head sculpt with his sunglasses, a regular one without sunglasses, and then a more battle damaged looking one. Now, for me, I mean, this is a seriously battle damaged head sculpt, and the body is pretty clean just in general. I mean, you can come around and you can see that there's bullet holes and things on the back of them. So for me, I kind of wish that he had a little less battle damage on his face. I mean, it's the Terminator, so you're probably going to want to have that, but because the rest of the body doesn't really match with this amount of damage on his face, it kind of throws things off a little bit. Now, looking at the figure himself, and I'm going to show you all the different accessories attached to the figure, because like I said, you can recreate some really cool scenes with it. One thing that I'm a little bit disappointed in, it is a very highly articulated figure, but there are certain positions that some of the joints are in that kind of keeps you almost always going towards those kind of classic poses and not really allowing you to be a little bit more creative. For example, to get a straight on body, you have to rotate his torso a little bit. So this is how it normally normally is, but you can see it kind of keeps his torso off on an angle. If you want it centered, it then kind of breaks up that cut a little bit, and then you come down here to the legs, you can see that they're bent. So, and that's more like a bracing kind of pose. I mean, you can use it really nicely when you're using his Gatling gun, but because they're kind of bent like that, it kind of gives him almost like a hunched kind of look to it at some angles. So I'm a little bit disappointed in terms of that, but like I said, overall this is a great looking figure. You can see a great amount of detail in the plastic for his jacket. Got a nice level of wear and paint on there. Like I said, you do have the bullet holes kind of riddled throughout the actual jacket itself. And then you can see some nice silver paint down here. You got the strap right here. All in all, amount of detail wise, this is exemplary. The articulation is actually really good as well. You get the joint down here at the neck, so you get a full range of motion for the actual head. The head sculpt looks really good. Definitely has a nice Arnold resemblance. The shoulders here, you can move up about that far. It's kind of stiff in there, but you can then also rotate them around. They do bend here at the elbow. They also rotate. The wrists here are on ball joints, so you get a nice range of motion. You don't get any extra hands or anything, so these are the only hands you get. He does rotate left and right here at the torso, and then the hips move forward, they move back, they move in and out very nicely. But this is where things get a little bit weird, and I don't understand it. You also do have a rotation here at the upper part of the thigh, or the hip area, I should say. This leg, you also do have the articulation at the knee. It bends forward and back, but again, because of the sculpting, you can't get his legs straight, which, like I said, kind of, on occasion, gives him like a little hunch look. I wish I could get his legs straight. And then the ankles do more forward and back. Those are on ball joints as well. You come to this leg though, and this is where I don't really understand NECA's decision making in this process. Because you got this great rotation up here at the hip, you don't really need any other kind of rotation, but for some reason they put a mid-thigh cut here, which to me is weird. I don't know why they would do that, because this is a perfectly fine joint, and then you rotate that around. I don't really understand the point for that. It does bend here at the knee as well, and then you come down here and he's got a mid-shin cut. So again, I don't know why. I mean, why do you need that? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, honestly, at all. It's cool. I appreciate that, but it just seems really kind of pointless to me to actually put that in there. I don't get it at all. And then the ankles also, like I said, have that ball joint down there. So great level of articulation in the figure, but almost too much. Like I said, I do not get at all why you have to have those two extra cut joints there in his leg. It just seems off. But this guy really is a phenomenal piece, and like I said, you can create a lot of different looks for this guy. You basically have 3 different kind of scenes that you can recreate. So starting off first, we're going to use this. And as you see, utilizing this head sculpt with this gun, you can kind of create that scene where the T-800 first confronts the T-1000, kind of in that hallway of the mall, and you can really recreate that and get a real cool look for him with this particular setup. I mean, that's really neat looking. Next up, you can utilize, you know, the Gatling gun. I mean, all this stuff can actually go on him for this particular scene because he utilized all this. So in recreating how he looked at the Cyberdyne's systems factory, a lot of the accessories plug on here and you can create this really very cool look. And like I said, this is the first time I think that we actually got the bag that actually holds all these extra bullets. So you can see holding the minigun, holding the bag, you got the strap on there with the explosive grenade things. You can strap that around his shoulder, much like he actually had in the film itself, and you can really create kind of that specific scene. And honestly, this is probably my favorite look. It just really shows Arnold as the Terminator, just in a very explosive, dynamic kind of look. And like I said, utilizing this head sculpt where he wasn't wearing the sunglasses just really helps to pull the authentic nature of this particular setup kind of right off of the screen and in figure form. And finally, utilizing this head sculpt, you can kind of create this scene where he's going around in the actual factory kind of looking for the T-1000. One thing that's unfortunate is this hand here, because it's not really designed to look like it's holding a gun, you kind of just rest it here on the handle, but you can still kind of recreate that look, I guess, where he's going around searching for the T-1000, but it's really cool. And then if you want to, you can take that off. You can then use this, and it can be, you know, getting that position. It can be the whole hasta la vista baby kind of look. So so many different options really with this guy, and then obviously you can mix and match. I mean, you don't have to keep it looking any one way. You can create your own specific look for the guy, and you know, it's really very neat. I'm a very big fan of how this figure actually came together. There are some problems that I do have with it, don't get me wrong, but you know, all in all, I do think that this is really, I mean, the term ultimate is really applicable with this. I think that they did a terrific job. And let's see, I'm trying to dress him up here, and this is where my wife makes fun of me because I dress my dolls, but this is an action figure, right? And that's backwards. I don't want that to be backwards. I want it to be on the front here. There we go. So I mean, there's so many different options really with this guy. It is such a versatile and really fun figure to kind of create your own dynamic looks, your own cool poses. Like I said, you do have a ton of accessories with this guy that really allow you to kind of mix and match and design your own look for him. And ultimately, I think that's what the whole idea is, to give him enough accessories that you can create your own specific look for him. Now, a lot of the accessories do kind of cater towards specific scenes, but because it's a toy, you're not kind of limited in that. You can do whatever you want, and I think that is great. This is a really fun set, and if you're a Terminator fan, this is definitely one that you want to pick up. As I said, I do believe that this is the best T-800 that they've ever done, you know, in terms of paint applications, accessories, articulation. It's all leaps and bounds above anything that they've done before. Now, all that being said, as I mentioned, there's a few things that I'm not 100%, you know, in favor of. I do wish that if you're going to have that head sculpt, he would have a little bit more body damage. Or if you're going to leave the body like that, make the face not as damaged. I really don't understand the 2 extra swivels right here in his leg. Those really seem kind of pointless, especially since his hip swivel up here is so darn good. But all in all, he's a great figure, and I cannot recommend this guy enough. So if you're interested in picking this guy up, he is slowly starting to hit various retail locations. Or as always, there's Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this, as well as the other NECA Terminator figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.